This is lesson 7, week 3 for year 7 maths. So we're looking at the Cartesian plane. In primary school you would have looked at a Cartesian plane for plotting coordinates. So this is just a quick summary as to what you learnt back then. Just remember you can use the textbook, Jack Plus 7, and it's section 15.3, the Cartesian plane, from pages 597 to 602 for this section we're doing. So we're going to answer some questions about this Cartesian plane that's got points plotted on it, and it's asking you in question 1, write down the coordinates of the following points shown in the above number plane. Here's the number plane, or the Cartesian plane, which you might have heard of it. So let's have a look at A. Just remember, when you're writing down coordinates, you've got an x-axis and you've got a y-axis. The x-axis just looks like a number line with 0 in the middle, positive numbers on the right and negative numbers on the left, whereas the y-axis looks like a thermometer, positive numbers being above 0 and negative numbers below 0. So looking at A, we've got to write down the coordinates. So we need to find out what the x and y values are. So if we find A, here it is here, and we draw lines towards the x-axis, which is that one, and the y-axis, and you can clearly see what the numbers are. So on the x-axis, the coordinate is 2, and on the y-axis the coordinate is also 2. So we can write our answers down here. The x-coordinate is 2 and the y-coordinate is 2. Just remember, whenever you write down coordinates, you've got an x value and a y value in brackets. Let's have a look at another one. We'll have a look at F. So let's find F. Here's F here. So we'll go across and down, and we'll find the x coordinate. Remember, the x is -3, and the y coordinate, which is the vertical one, is 1. So we've got -3 and 1. So we'll write that down for F, -3 and 1. Let's have a look at another one in the third quadrant. So we'll have a look at W. Can you see W? Here it is here. So let's draw lines over to the x-axis, and sorry, that's the y-axis, and up to the x-axis. Sorry about that. So on the y-axis you've got -5, and on the x-axis -3. We know that x comes first, so let's find W. So we've got -3, and the y-axis is -5. Well done if you got that correct. So for H, which is over here, let's do the same thing. Up to the x-axis and across to the y-axis. So the x-coordinates for H, and here's H here for the answer, the x-coordinate is 7, and the y-coordinate is -2. Alright, let's go to question 2. This time it wants to write down the letter used to name each of the following points. So let's have a look. We might look at the first, actually we'll look at two positive values. Let's find 2 positive values. We'll look at this one. So in E, it's a question we're doing, we're looking at 2, 2. I think we've already looked at that. So you come up to here, and you go x-axis 2, and then up 2 for the positive 2. And we've already had that one. So we know that that point is A. So let's now have a look at a negative value for x and a positive value for y. Hopefully I don't get the same one as before. So we'll try r. Here's r down here. So we're going to look for negative 2 for x and 3 for y. So we come up here, negative 2 for x and 3 for y. And we'll come up with the letter P. So let's have a look at it again, negative 2 and 3. Negative 2 and 3 was the point P. So well done if you got that. Here it is here. Let's have a look now for a negative value for x and a negative value for y. So I'm going to look at this one. Having a look back on the graph, negative 6 for x and negative 1 for y. So you go along the x-axis, negative 6 and negative 1 for y. So we come across the point I. And we can write that down in our answer, the point I. And let's go to one that's got a positive value for x and a negative value for y. So positive value for x and a negative value for y. Straight away we're going to look at whatever P is. So we go across 5 for x, there's 5 for x, and negative 3 for y. So we go 1, 2, 3, gets us to this point. So we know that 5 negative 3 will be n. Hopefully you can follow that to complete the rest of this worksheet. Don't forget to contact your teacher if you need help at all, but hopefully this has answered your questions. Or go to Jack Plus to do more work. Thank you, bye.